If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you're in the right place, especially you, who I know is a success warrior, someone who lives life greatly. I'm Cliff Yates, if you haven't already become aware of that, and I'm going to give you some Cliff Notes today for living life greatly. Not that I'm there yet, but I'm always driving forward, trying to get better every day in every way than I was yesterday. And these are the kind of things that I study, try to learn, and share with you. Because when I live purposely, when I live with intention, when I intentionally learn something with the knowledge I'm going to be sharing with somebody else, and that I might possibly have a positive impact on somebody else, then I learn things more completely, more deeply, and I love doing it. It causes me to really enjoy the sweetness of life. That's going to be the message today. The theme of the stream as I go to the gym. Hey, good morning. I'm getting ready to go into the gym and get after it today. It's funny, right? We live old school today. We have to do it on purpose, with intention. Old school on purpose. And what I mean by that, let's go back to our great grandfathers. Our great grandfathers never came home and said, honey, today behind the plow, I had a panic attack. Never happened. Why? Because they were going out there in nature, naturally living, naturally connecting to the divine, and allowing their brain to do what it's meant to do. But today, by necessity, because the spearhead of life is technology driven, we're all forced into one side of our brain, the left side of our brain. We're forced into the analytical, the technological side of our brain, and we're not living the full range, right? I talked about in previous episodes how important it is to live and feel the full range of our emotions, good or bad, happy or sad. Live full range. Now, in the science of happiness, which I studied through Arthur Brooks, who is a professor of happiness at Harvard, when we talk about left hemisphere, right hemisphere, prefrontal cortex, and the limbic system is, in charge of your pleasure. These are words and concepts that we can't see, hear, or feel. But it is a good sense to have a model of how the brain works, to a certain extent. To have a model, when we have a model, then we can look in awe of reality, of real life. If we have kind of a model of how the brain works, we can look at awe in the reality of life. And the scarcity of life, that's what makes it sweeter. How can coming to terms with our own mortality, right? With our own finitude of life, how can that help us in our pursuit of happiness? Because when we're scared, things become more valuable and sweeter. When we realize the scarcity of life, it becomes sweeter. And we can do that with intentionality. Arthur Brooks talked about, I have to look into this. He talked about this, how these monks, these Tibetan monks, several times a day, they come out in the hall of the monastery, Tibetan monks, and they look at 9 pictures of death, ranging from just died to a pile of bones turning to dust. And they spend 2 minutes in front of each picture saying out loud to themselves, that is me. That is me. That is me. And when they come to terms with their immortality, when they realize they can't escape dying, that's when they really escape worrying about it. And I think that's a model that we can adapt to our own life. A lot of people can accept, I know my physical body's going to die. I can understand that. But the fact that I won't exist anymore, I cannot grasp that. Conjures up a lot of big questions. You know, some of us do certain things because of that. We become Christians. I understand my physical body will die, but I will continue to exist. Well, that solves that problem. But a lot of people, since they can't grasp the concept that they won't exist anymore, they create this cognitive dissonance where they don't give any attention to it. So they live as if they're not going to die. That way they do not have to think about the fact that they are going to die. So that's one way that people go through life, right? They don't address it. But I think that prevents us from really enjoying the sweetness of life. When we come to grips with the scarcity of life, and Arthur Brooks talked about this. He said, think about your mom or dad. Do you have a mom or dad who's still alive? Think about your mom and dad if either are still alive. And ask this question. How many more Thanksgivings do I have with them? How many more Thanksgivings do I have with them? And wow. It's fewer than we think. It's not 100. So when we ask that question, how many more Thanksgivings? It creates a scarcity. And that creates a sweetness of life. And so creating that scarcity creates a sweetness, and we can live in the present moment, and we can taste life more sweetly. I think that's a great concept to live by. That's a great philosophical way to live. There's a book that Brooks talks about immortality, and he talks about another author called Pieper. And he talks about 3 baskets of life that we need to focus on for us to really experience the sweetness of life. 3 baskets. And the 3 baskets are this. Number 1, deepen your relationships with other people. Deepen your relationships with other people, the closest people around you. Number 2, deepen your faith or philosophical life. For me, a Christian, going to church, meditating in the Word, deepening my relationships with my fellow Christians. And number 3, learning something new that's worthwhile, that we don't do for worldly rewards. We get no pay for it. So I enjoy creating these videos. I get no pay. I enjoy hosting people on my podcast. They're not paying me. I learn from them. I love being a guest on other people's podcasts. I don't get paid for it. Learning worthwhile things that we don't receive a worldly reward for. Those 3 things. So let's concentrate on those things today, right? Concentrate on those 3 buckets. Number 1, deepening our relationship with the closest people around us. I'm going to work on that. My kids, grandkids, mom, my closest friends and acquaintances. Deepen those relationships. Focus on that bucket. Number 2, deepening our faith or our life philosophy. I'm going to do that through my church. Developing closer relationships and fellowship with people at the church, fellow Christians. And number 3, always learning something new and worthwhile that I'm not getting a worldly reward for, I'm not getting paid for. Hey, let's focus on these 3 baskets today, and our life is going to be so much sweeter right now. Not in the future, not from the past, but right now. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, I'm going to the gym, everybody. I'm going to the torture chamber. I'm getting it done today. I'm going after it. I'm going to be recreating old school, what Grandpa, great-great-grandpa did, which is what they were out in the barn at 5 a.m. milking the cows. They were out in the field tilling the soil, right? They were in touch with nature. They were recognizing the patterns of life, patterns of nature. They understood. I plant in the spring. I harvest in the fall. Doing the right things at the wrong time is not going to allow us to survive and thrive. Planting in winter is shit. Recognize patterns. That's what I'm doing today. I'm recognizing old school patterns where we had to really get our hands on top of some hard things, and we had to put a great effort in our day, in touch with nature. I'm going to get outside today and walk, get plenty of sunlight. I'm going to be hauling some heavy weight around today in the gym. I'm not going to be baling hay, which would be a worthwhile adventure. It would really put me in touch with nature and the patterns of life. But I have to recreate that, right, artificially in a certain extent. But I'm going to get out amongst people, interacting, connecting. And that's going to enhance my life right now, today, living in the present. All right. I'm enjoying the sweetness, baby. It tastes so sweet and it's natural. You can do this. Come on, join me today. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'm crazy motivated today. I'm a little bit nuts. And you know what? I like it because I notice that I like people and I connect with people who are a little bit nuts and crazy, but in a positive way. All right, everybody. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe.